We're back on Inside Tennessee. A reminder of the balance of power. This is in the state Senate, 27 Republicans, 6 Democrats. And here's a quick look at the breakdown in the House. Again, 75 to 24, led by Republicans. That's a walkout majority, meaning Democrats could literally walk out of the chamber. And yes, Republicans could still do business and pass laws. The bottom line is there are way more Republicans than there are Democrats right now in the House of Representatives.
What a sad place.
Let's talk. You do think that makeup's going to change a little bit based on this upcoming election, the general in November?
Absolutely, and it comes down to the issues. You know, folks are having to vote for these things like voucher, like these extreme bills dealing with abortion, and places like Memphis, Murfreesboro, Clarksville, and really here in Knox County as well are places where we feel really strong about picking up some seats.
I think there's also voices for a safer Tennessee, the gun issue that we saw a special session on last year that did nothing. But there's a strong lobby now for safer guns in Tennessee. And I think that has really picked up a lot of steam against some Republicans, some of the more conservative Republicans. We did see quite a few races, primary races for Republicans, where you had super conservatives running against more moderate Republicans, and in some cases they won.
The moderate Republicans.
The moderate.
Yes.
No. The conservative Republicans won. Patsy Hazelwood down in Chattanooga was a big surprise to me because she'd been in there a long time and had a strong leadership position as well. But what do you see? Where do you think there might be some pickups for Democrats? I mean, Knox County?
Yeah. I think you touched on two key constituencies, and that is these voters that are now left with a super conservative person and a really moderate Democrat like they have in Chattanooga. That's an opportunity for a pickup that we probably didn't anticipate. No one anticipated Patsy Hazelwood losing that race, but also that suburban or that strong kind of upper middle class moderate Republican is now looking at their party saying it's moved away from me, and now we're fielding some really good Democratic candidates. So I think those suburban areas, like in that belt of Nashville, Clarksville, Murfreesboro, which is considered probably suburban now, as much as Nashville has grown. Those are two areas, as well as some of our.
What about Knox?
Yeah, I was just saying, let's talk about. We got a local race we got to talk about.
Yeah,
so.
we actually have two really good candidates. They're in '89. Justin Lafferty really has a strong, powerful opponent. Right. Carrie's doing a good job of running, and she's doing a great job. But then also in 18, where you have someone that doesn't really represent their district. Elaine Davis she's far right. I mean, she's passed bills that we're having to deal with now in the city of Knoxville that she really didn't take into account what her constituency wants. So that's another great opportunity.
And Brian Goldberg, who is an opponent, who I've known Brian since he came to college at UT. He's a moderate Democrat, businessman, construction, really does represent the sort of the face of that district a lot better, and I think that's a really hopeful race for the Democrats. I don't think that'll get us out of the supermajority, but you take them where you get them, and we work our way back.
And here's what I'll say as well. There's a lot of Republicans that hold their nose for a lot of these votes because they really go against their party. If we can pick up a couple of seats, I think those votes would change, and they'll come back more to what their party represents, and not this extreme.
We saw it on the vouchers. I mean, again, where we had urban Democrats, folks like you, and rural Republicans who had a common interest.
That's right.
And they did not vote the party line. So taking it back to vouchers for a minute, this is Governor Lee, at least I've said, and I believe, his signature piece of work in his time as governor. And would you, and I've said this openly, would you, like I do, consider his governorship somewhat of a failure if he does not get this through on what will be his full third effort at attempting vouchers statewide?
I think there's no doubt it will be his term will be considered a failure when it fails, and it can't pass. Tennessee is not made up to where the vouchers can benefit. There's just too much distance between our rural Republicans and districts and the schools that would support them. Webb's a great school, but it can't support Hawkins County, Union County, Claiborne County. So what you're going to end up getting is some of these strip mall schools, and I think people are really wary
With
of
no
that.
oversight, no mechanism in place to manage, and it's terrifying. As a criminal defense lawyer, it's going to be a cottage industry with the theft that goes on with
That's
these programs.
exactly right.
But I just think it'll be a big failure for Tennessee.
What have you seen in other states that have moved forward with this? We know Arizona's one. We know Florida's another.
When you look at Arizona and Wisconsin, now Tennessee tried to throw a couple of amendments to put some guide rails or guardrails on that one, but their costs have just run away. It came out, I think the governor's formula had it at $144 million. It's over $1 billion in Arizona and approaching that in Wisconsin. And that's what you're going to get. What you're going to end up getting is every current private school students now, parents are going to get a $7,000 raise, and that's what it's going to end up being. And the uptick is not there. And one last thing, for the second year in a row, they have vouchers in Shelby County, Hamilton County, and Davidson County. And they have to take the same test as public schools. Second year running, the public school students have done better
Outperformed.
than those students on vouchers.
And that's been true nationally on the statistics I've seen, that any, like Arizona, like Florida, they're just, the public schools are still outperforming the charter schools.
Sam, would you have supported the bill if it didn't have universal access for any child? If it were failing schools, for instance, or, some reason that you're giving a leg up to kids that are in failing schools? And we have some failing schools here.
We do. We have some failing schools in Knox County. But here's what I'll say about that. There's nothing magic that goes on in a private school. What the private school they have great resources. They have great facilities. What we need to do is fully fund our public schools and then measure. And let's see how they're faring against those public schools. So until we get a direct, data-driven comparison, I would say no, I couldn't support any kind of voucher program.
Well, and the great private schools in Knoxville, you're talking about, and Susan, you know better because you put kids at $15,000, $20,000, $25,000.
That's right.
Not $7,000.
No.
We're going to take a quick break on Inside Tennessee. We're going to talk to Representative McKenzie about some other issues we may see pop up in January right after this.